Hey everyone, and welcome to a recap of The Diplomat Season 3. In this Emmy-nominated political thriller, we follow Kate Wyler, the United States ambassador to the UK who, following a massive conspiracy, must deal with an abrupt change in leadership and the international turmoil that follows. Now, this show has a ton of subplots and characters, but we're here to break down Season 3 in a quick and digestible way, whether you want to revisit the season's story, or you just need a quick refresher before Season 4. So, if this recap helped you out, consider dropping us a like, but for now, let's get started with Episode 1, Emperor Dead. Following the shockingly sudden demise of the US President, Bill Rayburn, the Vice President, Grace Penn, becomes the new leader of the United States. Given that he was in a video call with the former president when Rayburn had his heart attack, Hal Wyler, the husband of Kate Wyler, the US ambassador to the UK, is questioned about their conversation, but on his wife's advice, Hal tries to keep the details vague. Both the new president and Kate are transported to the US Embassy, where Penn summons Hal and Kate to an empty office room. Confessing, Hal declares the reason that Rayburn had his heart attack was because he revealed Penn's involvement in the false flag operation that had resulted in the destruction of the UK aircraft carrier, the HMS Courageous, and the death of nearly 50 British sailors. Desperately promising Penn that the two of them will no longer be a problem for her, Kate manages to stop the president from taking any immediate actions against the two. Once the pair go outside, a frustrated Kate refuses to talk to Hal because he went behind her back to expose Penn to Rayburn. While she is caught in a flurry of work at the embassy, Kate receives a call from the UK Prime Minister, Nicol Trowbridge, who, while expressing his condolences, asks that she transfer Margaret Roylan to the UK's custody. Worried that Trowbridge might try to kill his former friend-turned-enemy, Roylan, Kate relays this information back to Penn, and with the president's approval, they offer Roylan asylum. Later that night, Hal sneaks into the president's office while she is meeting her husband, and he advocates for Kate to be her vice president, stating that all the issues she had with Kate in the past were really his fault. After spending some time considering, Penn calls Kate and Hal into her office and declares, to both their surprise, that she would like Hal to be her VP.
This is going to be a pain point, and I apologize for that. I know it's complicated. Hal, I'd like you to be my vice president.
Episode 2, Last Dance at the Country Club. Realizing that she's going to get pulled away from doing actual work that matters and be given a ceremonial role as the second lady, Kate is devastated. And though Hal tries to negotiate an important position for her in the new administration, she remains largely checked out. While she clears out her office at the embassy, the CIA station chief in London, Idra Park, informs her that Margaret Roylan just took her own life. Meeting with PM Trowbridge and Austin Dennison, the UK Foreign Secretary, she notifies them of Roylan's death and her impending departure back to the US. The pair express their disappointment in both her failure and her sudden departure, especially Dennison, who had a thing for Kate in the past. As Hal and Kate are wrapping up in London, Stuart Hayford, Kate's number 2 at the US Embassy, brings up the idea that Kate could stay on as ambassador. He proposes the idea out of self-interest, hoping to shield his partner Idra from full blame for Roylan's death, but as he builds his case, the argument begins to invigorate Kate. Noticing this change, Hal talks to Kate privately and asks if she wants a separation. Knowing that they can't be divorced publicly due to his new position, he offers a private divorce, which they can then disclose to the public some years down the line. Though Kate initially says no, claiming that she's okay with moving to DC, when the time comes for them to get on the plane, she remains rooted to the tarmac. Seeing her standing motionless, Hal gets on the plane alone and returns to the US without her. Episode 3, The Riderless Horse. A few days later, Kate is asked to come to the White House for an important event, and sitting down with Kate and Hal, the White House Chief of Staff, Billy Apaya, comes up with messaging to explain Kate's absence. Ultimately, the trio decide to position the marriage as representative of the modern American family, where both spouses have important careers. After Billy leaves, the two go to their bedroom and they try to lay down some ground rules for appearing married publicly, but being divorced privately. The next day, as arrangements are being made for President Rayburn's funeral processions, Kate receives a call from Stuart indicating that Idra's circumstances are looking increasingly dire. While setting up a meeting with the CIA director regarding the matter, Kate analyzes the seating arrangements at the funeral and realizes that Penn is wavering from her decision on Hal and is looking at Governor Bob Sinar as her potential VP. While helping Hal get back into Penn's good books, she forgets about the meeting, making things even worse for Idra. At the funeral, Hal humiliates Governor Sinar for his lack of knowledge on the F-35 program, and Kate reveals to Penn that over the past few days, Hal has made incredible progress on getting a major treaty ratified. Though Penn is apprehensive of Hal's wild behavior, she decides to formally announce him as her VP. Episode 4. Arden. Back in London, Kate is met with Stuart and a defeated-looking Idra. Apologizing for the mishap with the CIA director, Kate tries to reassure her that things will be okay, but Idra remains skeptical. While at a meeting with a UK minister, Kate is railroaded by PM Trowbridge, who interrupts them and very obviously tries to use Kate as a way to get closer to Hal. Deciding to take advantage of this, Kate asks the PM to let Idra off as a favor to her, and though Trowbridge accepts, in return he asks that she get Hal to back his play on a fossil fuel deal that goes against Denmark's interests. And not wanting to lose Idra, Kate agrees, and she later calls Hal to give him the heads up. But angered, Hal tells her to stop playing the wife card whenever it suits her.
You can't play the wife card every time your host country needs a favor.
My host country doesn't need a favor. Denmark needs a favor, and this isn't the wife card. This is the ambassador card. Next time, I'll call the president. She still takes my calls.
Perfect.
Episode 5. Bird Watchers. 5 months into Penn's presidency, Hal secretly returns to London to see Kate while she is hosting a party at her estate. And in the brief seconds before she notices him, Hal notes her close body language with a supposed bird researcher named Callum Ellis, and he realizes that the two are secretly together. Inviting Callum to a private meeting with him and Kate, Hal needles him with questions about his work, and annoyed, Kate tells Callum to reveal his true profession. A spy at MI6, Callum had learned from a source that Russia recently lost a nuclear-powered submarine, and with their resources strained in Ukraine, the Russians were not able to search for the sub themselves. Sensing an opportunity, Callum had been gathering allies to mount a secret multi-country search party for the submarine, which was how he met Kate. After Callum leaves, Hal bashes Kate for recklessly having an affair with a spy, and he asks for details to make sure that Kate is being discreet.
You don't want to know.
I don't. Unfortunately, I have to. Because since you're so breathtakingly reckless, I have to have some sense of where to begin the cleanup of this shit stain that you seem to have no problem wiping across the American flag.
But hearing the words coming out of Kate's mouth clearly causes him pain, and Kate leaves the room after seeing his reaction. Finding an empty office, she locks the door and starts to weep as well. To make matters worse, the two are informed by Idra that a Chechen colonel has recently come to the US Embassy seeking asylum and is claiming to have information that proves that America was behind the sinking of the HMS Courageous. Hal and Kate confirm to a shocked Idra the man is telling the truth, and the three board a plane to go and meet with the president. Episode 6. Amagansett. At the president's private residence, Kate, Hal, and Billy Apaya meet with Penn to discuss their next move. After asking Kate to step out of the room, Penn speaks with Billy and Hal, and the three ask Kate, against her better judgment, to invite Trowbridge to the US. The gist of their plan is to reveal Penn's secret to Trowbridge, but then promise the UK a great deal of economic aid in exchange for him publicly announcing that the majority of the blame lay with Roylan. Though she invites Trowbridge, when Kate tries to protest further, they ask her to return to London. And before they send her away, Kate tells Todd, Penn's husband, to relay an idea to Penn. Instead of accepting culpability herself, Kate asks her to pin the blame on the deceased President Rayburn. When Trowbridge arrives with a UK delegation the next day, Penn decides to follow Kate's advice. Though the pressure is off Penn in a personal capacity, the thing that Kate was originally worried about comes to pass. Along with a new free trade agreement, Dennison tells Kate that Trowbridge expects the US to repay them tenfold. When Kate pushes back, stating that there is a limit to how much the UK can expect the US to bend, Dennison gives her a hard look and walks away. Some hours later, the two leaders host a press conference, but, contrary to their original plan, Trowbridge announces that Rayburn was the main perpetrator.
This deadly attack was orchestrated at the behest of former United States President William Rayburn.
What the motherfucker?
Oh, he didn't know it.
Episode 7, PNG. The next day, Kate is back in London, and the news spreads like wildfire. Receiving a call from Billy, Kate is told to get Trowbridge to issue another statement acknowledging Royland's involvement. But before she can get to work on that, Kate is approached by Callum, who informs her that the submarine has been located, but only the Americans have the tech to retrieve it. Kate tries to set up a meeting with the PM, but Stewart informs her that the Brits are refusing to talk to the Americans through the official diplomatic channels. Hoping to get the message passed through intelligence channels instead, Kate asks Idra to forward her request to Trowbridge. But once again, the meeting is declined, and Idra manages to learn that Trowbridge is conferring with the Chinese. Hearing this, Kate and Callum realize that Trowbridge is seeking Chinese assistance with the submarine. Revealing a secret that he'd kept from everybody, including his own government to protect his source, Callum informs Kate the submarine is carrying a secret Russian doomsday weapon called Poseidon.
The president needs to call Nickel and apologize so he will listen when she explains that we cannot allow China to reach the sub. It's carrying the Poseidon.
Realizing that the Chinese cannot be allowed to obtain Poseidon, Kate heeds Callum's advice. She tells Hal to have Penn privately apologize to Trowbridge so the two countries can cooperate on the submarine issue. Episode 8, Schrodinger's Wife. Respecting the urgency of the matter, Penn arrives in the UK along with Hal and the two lead an American delegation to meet with Trowbridge and his people. Though the meeting starts off well when Penn brings up Poseidon, Trowbridge ridicules her and walks away, having always considered Poseidon to be a Russian fiction instead of a real weapon. Wanting Trowbridge to take them seriously, Kate asks Callum to reveal that the intel came from him. And though hesitant, because his source would likely be executed and he would be fired for sharing the intel with the Americans first, Callum eventually agrees. Kate then relays this news to Hal, but to her surprise, he tells her to stop Callum from martyring himself, stating that Kate should not burn an opportunity to live a happy life so easily. And moved by Hal's regard, Kate agrees to put her head together with Hal to come up with an alternative plan. The next day, Hal and Kate coordinate a brilliant way to both convince Trowbridge of Poseidon's genuine existence, while also allowing him to maintain the UK's dignity by having the submarine buried instead of allowing it to come into anybody's hands, including the Americans.
No one can hold a power like that and still pretend to be a democracy. It's genocidal. No one should have it. Not Russia, not China, not you, not us. Bury it. Let it rot under the sea.
While the US delegation prepared to return to America, Callum comes up to Kate and he reveals there was a sharp radiation drop around the submarine, indicating that the Russians have somehow managed to grab Poseidon. A worried Kate relays this message to Hal and he goes to speak with the president. Seeing their body language from a distance rings an alarm in Kate's head. And when Hal gets back, Kate asks if the Americans were the ones responsible for stealing Poseidon. Hal tells Kate not to speak of this to anybody, and when he goes back to the president and Trowbridge to have his picture taken, he chillingly whispers, "She knows," in Penn's ear. Horrified, Kate looks at Penn, and more importantly at Hal, in an entirely different light. And that wraps up the Diplomat Season 3. A lot of stuff going on here. We've got a new president and a new VP, Kate is struggling to adjust to the changes, and now a doomsday weapon is secretly swapping hands. We'll see what all of this brings in Season 4, and of course, we'll have that recap ready for you guys when the new season drops. So, what did you guys think of this season? Sound off in the comments and let us know. If you like this recap, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll be back soon with another recap or video on your favorite entertainment, but as always, thanks for watching.